Hello, welcome to Lackluster Reactions. I'm your Lackluster Actor, here today for another episode of The Summer Hikaru Died. Last week we dealt with another ghost, monster, whatever these things are. And this week we have to see what we're dealing with, whether we're dealing with a monster or whether we're seeing the exorcist draw ever closer. But without further ado, let's get started. I always like that sound of cracking flesh. It's a very good effect. Turning it down a bit more. Ah, the Swamp Man. Yes. Someone is completely replaced by a copy and the original dies. So what is the copy? Is it him or is it something different? After the show. In this case, all Swamp Man fully knows that he's a different creature. The ship of Theseus approach, yes. Or here in your case. I mean, yes, but that doesn't answer either the thought experiment or what's happening with Poe. Good to see his opinion keep going up. Okay, so whatever is they're practicing for is on Monday. And our opening. So, one of the things about the show is I can never predict what's going to be coming on each episode because we have a lot of moving pieces, but at the same time, they could throw in a curveball like last week. They could continue put the pieces we do have on a back burner, like the housewife. We haven't seen her actually do something for a while now. Last we saw her was she was at the railroad crossing, but then the railroad the railroad crossing ghost didn't do anything. The pile of flesh slash brains was a great scene last week. Ah, come on, really? It's been forever since you've done this. It's close to the end, so hopefully. Yeah, okay. Hopefully we got through it. But regardless, it's almost at the end of the opening, so it's triggered past the part where it's doing stuff like that. But anyway, what was I even talking about? But yeah, the Swamp Man experiment is a apt comparison to what we're dealing with. Though, again, the crux of the Swamp Man experiment isn't if other people realize it's a different person, it's whether they should be considered a different person based on the fact that they don't are an exact copy. But anyway, let's see how this still goes. This also changed the scent of sweat, so it smells what humans perceive as worse with guys. Smells also arbitrary, so, but that's not the main point of conversation. So again, this conversation is more of a side tangent than an actual something to be dived into. So, still has a mark. So he's kind of glad that the call is fitting in, but there's one of the people who are hired the exorcist. This could be a time where they get unwanted attention one way or another. So for a little bit we haven't, well, I guess we just had a ghost last week, but for a little bit we haven't been dealing as directly with some of the horror elements when it comes to Hikaru. Symbolism of duck bugs dying again. Oh. Okay, it's gone. Okay, there it is. That one wasn't in the opening though. But as I was saying, we haven't been dealing directly with any of horror directly attached to Hikaru for a bit. But that's because we're currently in a false calm where our main character has reached a point of acceptance with Hikaru, so the psychological nature of the horror is currently being suppressed, put on the back burner because he is in a state of acceptance. Which acceptance is the final of the 5 stages of grief. But the thing with most of these cycles is that people don't go through them in order, and you don't only go through them once and then reach an end. Like right if there, he is still remembering the one who wasn't a swamp man. And again, his acceptance of Hikaru is, I guess continuing the metaphor, his acceptance of the swamp man isn't the only thing that connects to the horror or the plot, I guess. It's the main thing with the horror, but plot-wise, his relationship with Hikaru isn't the only factor. We still have the townspeople, the exorcist, the classmates. each of them has the option of tipping the equilibrium. And while Hikaru and Yoshiki are more than happy to maintain the status quo, it's still not far from falling all apart. Ah, something else that could tilt the equilibrium. But of course, moving from acceptance to denial, and then back again. Both the pictures of Hikaru were blurry because of the fireworks. Was it just because of the fireworks, or was it the phone picking up on a supernatural? You know, I've used grill letters but never had them of my own. Is there a way to refill them, or do they just run out and are all placed? Speaking of tilting of the equilibrium, one of our people who might know something is up is now alone with Hikaru and might confront him at the wrong time. Ask him to go. Oh yeah, she's definitely gonna try talking with Hikaru, and then Yoshiki gets in at the last moment. No, he wasn't purposely leaving you two alone. Yeah, she knows I'm gonna say something stupid. Tension in the last 20 seconds, last the tension really ramped up again. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're getting to see about her powers. Of course, one's in the family. Got it. Buddhist influenced teachings for at least the grandmother and her identification of the powers. Oh, is the grandmother gonna? No, that's but that doesn't mean they're bad. So you're betting that what a call isn't bad, and you're currently betting your life on it. Kill her. Yeah. Yes. Yep. That's the kind of existence these creatures lived. And we're at the part where we can't deny it anymore. Mm-hmm. Say it clearly. Your bangs aren't hiding anything this time. Yeah. Does she know and is just brushing it aside in order to... Okay. So she does have an understanding, but just not... Lack of formal training has her not realizing fully what the problem is. You're not off the hook. You almost killed someone. No. Mm-hmm. Ah, now you're in the blink of sadness. Oh no, is it Hikaru again? It is Hikaru again. Yeah, the problem is humans don't see the world like that. You can, but they can't. So yeah, the main issue again is that Hikaru does not understand anything about being human, even with Hikaru's memories. And that is where the Swamp Man comes in. Where does one end, and when does the other begin? Is the second one truly different, or is it truly the same? Right here. Considering how you left, I was expecting you to be in a need to stay separate breakup phase, but it doesn't look like that's the case at this time. But yeah, again, this had to happen at some point. Yoshiki was getting too cozy with the Swamp Man. So something needed to shake up the plot, bring it back to the tension that is the main crux of the my best friend was replaced after he died story plot. And now it's there. Hikaru tried to kill another one of their friends, and that's not something he can take back, even if his view of life and the soul is different from a human's. That's in itself is the issue. So the real question is, why is Yoshiki right there, right back to being with him, going back to school with him just after what I can assume to be just the weekend? But I guess that's questions we'll get answered in future episodes. So thank you everyone who stopped by to watch that episode with me. I hope you all have a good week. And I look forward to next week's episode. Hope someone stop by to watch that with me as well. But until then, take care.